You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
I'm talking about Shawty going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it means nothing. Nothing about a woman all day. Man made the car. Man made the train to carry the heavy load. Man made the electrolyte to take us out of the dark. Man made the bump of the water like the 7 Omega. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. And man makes them happy because man makes them joy. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man's world. But
Grand Rising.
Hey, Grand Rising from Las Vegas, Nevada, A-Twin. Thank you for joining us, brother. We're going to come up with this heat this morning. All right, now, you know, I got to sit at a lunch counter and beg for a cup of coffee at my own lunch counter.
Yep, so thank y'all for tuning in to Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase. In conjunction with the Frontline Black News, this is season 10, episode 17 of Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase. And on this season 10, episode 17 of Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase, we'll be discussing these crazy political times in 2025 under the new dump, aka Trump regime. So we got Trump's new tariffs. We're going to be going over that.
Yeah, that's fucking up the economy already.
Then we got Adams Case Dismissal with Prejudice.
Yeah, the crook.
Then we got Elon Musk has been fired from DOGE.
Oh, that's great news.
or he'll be stepping down rather. But I believe he's been fired. They're just not coming out and saying it like that. And anything else we want to discuss?
Okay, so him and Little Stink, they got to go, right? Oh, and then also too, ladies and gentlemen, today is April 4th, and we do know this is the day that Dr. King was assassinated on in the year 1968.
Yeah, 57 years, Shabaka.
Yeah, 57 years ago. So we're gonna kind of reflect on that there toward the end. Okay, Brother Jay, please take us away. Give me a few minutes, man. I got to sit at the lunch counter and beg myself for a cup of coffee. Fortunately, it's my lunch counter, and I know what's going in the coffee. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so ABC World News Tonight with David Muir was talking about this. I was just watching it not too long ago, so I'm gonna play the part about the tariffs.
All right.
Fair use, fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act allows for fair use of copyright material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Yes, R.I.P. to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying, without a doubt. Hey, Twin, thanks for joining us.
U.S. stock market's in a free fall after President Trump's announcement of sweeping tariffs, the worst single-day losses in years since the beginning of the pandemic. Americans and their 401ks taking immediate hits, and families now bracing for higher prices from groceries to cars to appliances. The Dow falling nearly 1,700 points today alone, nearly 4%. The S&P 500 down nearly 5%, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ index falling nearly 6%, their worst day in 5 years. President Trump announcing a baseline 10% tariff on goods coming into the U.S., even steeper tariffs for many countries, including China, the EU, Japan, and South Korea. Late today, President Trump saying, quote, "I think it's going very well." In addition, overnight, a 25% tariff on all imported cars and auto parts kicked in. And tonight, the third largest U.S. automaker, Stellantis, the maker of Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep, now laying off 900 workers in Indiana and Michigan. Nike saw its stock fall more than 14% today. Apple stock falling more than 9%. And analysts say bringing back production to the U.S., even if just 10% of iPhones were made here, it would more than triple the cost of an iPhone. So how will this all work? How long will this pain last? And what President Trump said today about the economic pain already. ABC's chief business and economics correspondent Rebecca Jarvis leading us off tonight from Wall Street.
Tonight, U.S. stocks in free fall. President Trump sweeping new tariffs, sending stocks plummeting,
it's called a
leading
stock
to the market's
market
worst day
crash
since the start of the pandemic 5 years ago. The Dow plunging nearly 1,700 points, or 4%. The S&P 500 down more than 4.8%. The tech-heavy NASDAQ down nearly 6%. Among the hardest hit, car makers, including U.S. companies Ford, Tesla, and General Motors. And already tonight, the president sweeping tariffs taking a toll on American jobs. The third largest automaker in the U.S., Stellantis, which makes Jeep, Chrysler, and Dodge, temporarily laying off 900 workers in Indiana and Michigan as it pauses production in factories in Canada and Mexico after the president's new 25% tariff on foreign-made autos. And for Americans watching their 401ks shrink and bracing now for higher prices from groceries to cars, economists across the board arguing this is not a surprise with tariffs so steep.
The tariffs are a tax on imports, and that tax has to be borne by somebody, and history suggests that it's going to be the American consumer.
Other American companies seeing their stocks plunge too. Nike, which produces about half its shoes at factories in Vietnam, down 14.4%. Apple, which designs its iPhone in California, but relies on manufacturing in China, India, Vietnam, and Malaysia, down 9.2%. And even if Apple made just 10% of its phones back here in the U.S., analysts estimate the cost of an iPhone would surge from $1,000 to $3,500 because of the cost of labor here. Home building and furniture hurt too. Restoration hardware stock sinking 40% as the president announced his tariffs. The CEO reacting in real time.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I just looked at the screen. I hadn't looked at it. It got hit when I think the tariffs came out.
And tonight on Wall Street, investors telling me the pain is far from over.
Living through a day like today, not knowing what the next few days are going to bring or the next quarter, that's where it gets a little troubling.
And David, we are just in day one, just 24 hours since the president's announcement. It's still unclear how countries will respond, how they'll react, whether they'll negotiate or retaliate. JP Morgan tonight saying that if these tariffs are sustained, it will likely plunge the U.S. and the world into recession. David?
Rebecca Jarvis leading us off tonight. Rebecca, thank you. The president late today leaving the White House amid the markets plunging, saying, I think it's going very well, signaling he will stay the course. Here's Mary Bruce.
Oh, my God.
Tonight, President Trump sounding unbothered by the plunge on Wall Street after his sweeping tariffs upended the world economy.
I think it's going very well. It was an operation. Like when a patient gets operated on.
He's mentally unstable.
In the past, the president has acknowledged his tariffs could cause short-term pain to American consumers and businesses. But today, he only spoke of rosy times ahead.
The markets are going to boom. The stock is going to boom. The country is going to boom. And the rest of the world wants to see, is there any way they can make a deal?
But watching the markets dive today, the president's own former Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin saying he hopes there can be a deal to lift some of these tariffs, acknowledging the reality that fulfilling Trump's pledge to return manufacturing to the U.S. will take years.
I'm hopeful that those will be negotiated down, that those are tariffs that will bring people to the table and we'll negotiate them down. Now, for many businesses, it takes a while to move the manufacturing base.
Tonight on Air Force One, the president laying out a timetable.
How long will it take to get manufacturing, American manufacturing, to where you would like to see it?
Well, let's say it's a 2-year process. They can build them fast, but they're still very big plans. So I'd always say it would take a year and a half to 2 years.
But he did not explain what would happen to alleviate pain in the interim, or acknowledge that American businesses will likely pay more to build products here than overseas, costs that economists warn will be passed on to consumers. The president today not acknowledging the economic pain his tariffs may cause. And when pressed on this all day, White House officials reiterating the same message. Have faith. Trust the president. David.
Mary Bruce at the White House. Mary, thank you. In the last 24 hours, the president did acknowledge he campaigned on groceries. Millions of families are now bracing for higher prices tonight. What we found at the grocery store, the appliance store, and at the auto lot. Matt Gutman on how this could affect so many of you at home.
Tonight, Americans are bracing after voters made it clear in November inflation and high prices were the top issue. Now, they're fearful prices are going to get worse, not better, on everything from cars to clothes, electronics to groceries. And like millions of Americans, Susan Linder is retired and on a fixed income.
We're terrified, really. And it makes no sense. I mean, look at the stock market today. It makes no sense that these tariffs have gone into effect.
Those tariffs will mean higher costs at the supermarket on produce not grown here and on coffee, chocolate, and other items.
Something else to look out for, seafood. The USDA.
My damn coffee, you crazy as hell.
Coffee don't went up. It's going up, Shabaka.
Well, fortunately, I own the lunch counter where I get my coffee from.
There's 80% of seafood consumed in the U.S. comes from high tariff countries, places like Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Canada, Chile. So that could rise.
Tonight, analysts say these new tariffs could cost an average American family of 4 up to $7,200 extra a year. It was just 24 hours ago, the president acknowledging he campaigned by talking about groceries.
It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries went through the roof, and I campaigned on that.
For this father of 3, it's not old-fashioned. It's a real concern with prices set to go higher.
We're going to start feeling the pinch pretty soon, right?
We're feeling it now, you know. I go in there, I see the prices. I try to act like they don't exist, and I just try to work harder.
Almost every industry feeling the pinch. This appliance store in Norwood, Massachusetts hopes to absorb some of the costs.
If there are increases in price, they'll see if the manufacturer can absorb some of them too. Really just to keep the the cost down for the consumer.
And this Toyota dealership in Palm Beach, Florida, is trying to hold out too.
They would be able to absorb, sustain a period of time, with these without really passing it along to consumers.
But at David Dion's furniture store in LA, he says he'll have to pass on at least some of the costs to the consumer.
If you had to absorb more of the tariff and not pass it on to consumers, could you stay in business?
No, I would get out of business. There is no way I can absorb this kind of costs.
And then when your ass go out of
and David,
business,
as we just saw, some of those businesses will try to absorb the cost, but the reality is, from furniture to appliances, from cars to groceries, it's consumers will have to bear the burden of those tariffs. David.
We're just 24 hours in, and we're going to stay on this. Matt Gutman with us tonight. Matt, thank you. To the other major news.
Okay, Brother Che. Okay, class is open. It's called
These fools arguing.
Macroeconomics 101. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what you do. Okay, stockpile on everything that you can right now. As far as going out there buying you a new Seville and having Olivia fill your quota because he wants to buy a new Seville, don't buy it. Don't buy it. The key is, people, is that they need that inventory to move, okay? When you don't buy it, okay, it's gonna drop, okay? Because they want to get rid of the inventory. Because even out here in Las Vegas, they're talking about all these car dealers and all this old type of stuff, right?
Yeah. Yep.
The key is don't buy it. Ride share. Get on a skateboard. Get on a 10-speed. Get in a damn wheelbarrow, man. You know what I'm saying? Do whatever you do. Do not buy the shit. And let's use the example, Black family, of the Montgomery bus boycott. And you can lay this opponent out, man, and it will be the biggest counterpunch going. Okay?
You could do that for the auto, but with the groceries, though, what you gonna do about the groceries, Shabaka? We got to go back to growing our own food.
There you go, Brother Che. Move to the head of the class. I was about to say that. Jab Jamboree. About to run, then spar. Listening in, though, family. Okay, yeah, Jab, get your road work in, man. Okay. And be careful with the sparring, okay? And let us know how you're doing with the sparring. Okay, so what it is, family. Hey, that's right, jab, exactly. And you was just looking at a Cadillac Twin. Hey, now here's something, people, where you can get your cars from. I don't know if they're gonna have the tariffs on that. Go to the cop auctions. Like how they have the police auctions on the cars.
Yep.
They go buy your car from there. Get with the homies, man. This is why it's imperative that our young man know auto mechanics now, is because you go to the auction, okay? Give it the once over on your auto mechanics. Go to the junkyard and buy your parts. You see, the hell with AutoZone, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I need a couple of parts myself, and I'm going right straight to the fucking junkyard.
Yep. Yep, that is great advice.
Exactly, and this is what I'm saying. Listen to an old bastard, okay? Don't buy the shit, okay? And then the stock market is crashing. Oh my. Oh, definitely check on your bank accounts. If push goes to shove, go get your money out the bank. Have a bank run.
Right.
What you're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, is a high-tech depression that's coming, okay? But guess what else that they're going to have to lower the production on? The robots.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah. You see. Okay. And then grow your own food. Stay away from the GMOs, okay? And then also, too, Black family, those of you who are property owners, whatever you do, do not sell your property. Okay. Now, where's the minstrel show of Cory Booker? Yeah, because we got to talk about that idiot. Okay. Now, the reason being, he was up there buck dancing, yassa bossing, going to Massa, talking about how Massa loved him. Oh, well, we're all Americans. The main one who's going to suffer from this stuff, Black family, is going to be us. Okay? Like we said before, and I'm going to say it again. Open up Black businesses, put our own people to work, because guess what? We don't have to deal with diversity, equity, and inclusion. So all you Black business owners, start firing those undercover Klansmen, get rid of them Yassa bosses. You see what I'm saying? Get like-minded people who want to do something, because you see, Black family, we are literally now are in a state of emergency.
Yep, I concur. So moving along, Shabaka. Officer Eric Adams, corruption case has been dismissed.
Oh, Black Kojak, yeah, baldy locks, yeah. We knew that clown was going to do it. You know, it's all rigged. You know what I'm
what's
saying?
going on, everybody? We are here. We're alive. Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button
and subscribe to Frontline Black News.
Make sure you are following me on Telegram at TV.
Like and subscribe. Frontline Black News.
Shadow banning. With the introduction out of the way, let's get the stream started. We're going to get through this very quickly because I'm low on time, but I did want to make sure to get to this today before the day came to a close, and to kind of close this chapter of Biden era nonsense in which the case against Eric Adams, the corruption case against Eric Adams, it has officially been dropped. It's officially been dropped, and this was a case that was a BS case that was brought on by the Biden administration, which we all know was in retaliation. It was in retaliation to Eric Adams having the audacity to tell the truth about the migrant crisis and hold the proper blame at the feet of the Biden and Harris administration. And because he did that, what happened was a series of raids happening across those who are associated with Eric Adams and that were a part of his cabinet, a part of his reelection team. And then the indictment eventually came down on Eric Adams. And once again, it was retaliation. And we all know that that's what it was. But in my opinion, justice has been served, and the case has been thrown out by the Trump DOJ, right? And Democrats are very upset about it, and that makes me happy. Anytime they're upset, I'm in a good mood. And I just want to go through, you know, some of the reasons that they're upset. There's one reason in particular that really kind of made me chuckle, right? But first here, I want us to listen to what, pull this video up for you guys right now, what Adam Schiff had to say, right? Adam Schiff made a comment about this, and let's take a listen to what the senator stated about this charge, the case against Eric Adams being dismissed by Trump's DOJ. Let's get into that right now.
But the whole broader effort of the department to go after universities, to go after law firms, is just designed to intimidate, and they're trying to do the same thing with members of Congress. The case in New York against Mayor Adams that was just dismissed by the court this morning is probably the most egregious abuse, the most patently obvious, out in the open, corrupt action by the department that I've ever seen. I was part of the department 30 years ago, but I've never seen anything like it. The court dismissing this case against the mayor, not because there's any problem with the evidence in this serious corruption case against the mayor of New York, but because they wanted to leverage the mayor to use as a political pawn in their immigration policy. If that kind of thing is allowed to happen, that's the end of the rule of law in America.
Now, the reason the case was dismissed, Senator Schiff, and you know that this was retaliation by the Biden administration and the Trump administration, Pam Bondi and his DOJ is just doing the right thing by dropping this case, right? And what he stated here at the very end is a lie. This is something that's been repeated by Democrats over and over again. And I want to play that one more time because this lie that he's getting ready to tell, Eric Adams actually proves them to be wrong. So let's listen to this one more time.
This serious corruption case against the mayor of New York, but because they wanted to leverage the mayor to use as a political pawn.
He said they wanted to leverage the mayor to use as a political pawn. What does he mean by that? Well, I should have stated this earlier, but the case was dismissed with prejudice, if I'm getting that correct. It was dismissed with prejudice, meaning that the case cannot be brought back up again. It's done.
Okay,
it's over.
it's a
If the case was
kangaroo
dismissed
court.
without prejudice, which is what the DOJ was pushing to do, right?
Yeah,
They were going
a
to dismiss
kangaroo
it
court.
without
Yeah.
prejudice. Then that means that the case could be brought back up again later on in the future. And because of that, the talking points that these guys were running with is, look at what Trump is doing. He's hanging this case over Eric Adams' head so that Eric
It's
Adams can
called
do his
extortion.
bidding and assist Tom Homan with mass deportation. And that's the only reason that they're doing this. But with the case being dismissed with prejudice, now it means it's officially over, right?
Yep.
And you would think that with that being the case, and if what they were saying about Eric Adams was true, that the Trump administration was holding the case over his head, right? And that's the only reason he's cooperating with Eric Adams, that he's cooperating with Tom Homan. And Trump, what we're getting ready to see right now, let me pull this up for you. Look at this video here. If that were true, then Eric Adams would be, number one, jumping for joy, and would not in any way, shape, form, or fashion be looking to seemingly associate himself with the Trump administration in any way, shape, form, or fashion, right? But that's not how things played out when Eric Adams gave his speech after the case was dismissed. And I want to play the last 2 minutes of his speech. It was only about 5 minutes long. He didn't speak for too long after the case was dismissed, right? He spoke for about 5 minutes, but let's listen to the last 2 minutes, because he's going to do something that's going to make you just go, oh, okay? So let's check this out right now. Let me pull this video up, and pull this video down, and I'm going to pull the Eric Adams video up. And while I'm doing this, just make sure you smash that like button for me and subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Let's listen to this here.
Like and subscribe to Frontline Black News.
But most importantly, more than hearing what he has to say, pay attention to what he's going to do. Pay attention to what he's going to do. Let's watch this.
I'm a New Yorker, and this is the greatest city on the globe, and it's a privilege being your mayor, something I did not take for granted one day, and I'm going to continue to serve you.
Goldilocks house, nigga.
That's
Come
exactly
on,
what we're doing today, because New Yorkers are still counting on us. We need to continue delivering a safer, more affordable cities, because families are counting on us to accomplish that task. As I have repeatedly said, I have always been solely beholden to the people of this city. No special interests, no political opponents, but just everyday New Yorkers.
Exactly, Twin. That's exactly what it is, man.
And I'm going to continue to do that. So today we turn the page, we move forward together, because the real story of New York City isn't about me or this case. It's about you and the bright future we're building together.
Nigga, please.
I want to say God bless you, New York City. And God bless what we have accomplished. And many of you know my faith.
And all you that deserve to be right straight in fucking jail,
Jesus
right along with Donald Duck, who belongs in an insane asylum.
And New Yorkers stop me all the time in trying to find the rationale behind this. And I found it in this book. I'm going to encourage every New Yorker to read it. Read it and understand how we can never allow this to happen to another innocent American. God bless you.
Oh, by the way.
Now, when he did
that's
that,
something I got to say.
I was looking at that originally, and I said, wait, what? He wants all New Yorkers to read, what is the name of this book?
Government
Gangsters. Government Gangsters? I wasn't familiar with this book. So I said, all right, well, let's look into
Gangsters.
Let me pull it
Idiot.
up.
We've been knowing that for the last 100 years.
What's this? Boom.
It's by
Government Gangsters,
shit
the
crazy.
deep
It's
state, the
stupid.
truth, and the battle for our democracy. By who? By Kash Patel. By yours truly, Cash Patel, Donald Trump's FBI, Donald Trump's FBI director. When I saw that, I said to myself, oh man, Eric, come on, man. Just go ahead and come out the MAGA closet, bro. Just come out the MAGA closet. It's cool, brother. It's cool. It's cool. It's okay for you to be a black man and MAGA. There's nothing wrong with that. You won't. Well, you will be judged.
Everything
like
is
Don Lemon,
wrong
but who
with
cares
that.
about what people like Don Lemon have to say, right? It's okay, man. You know, everybody knows I'm MAGA. I'm okay. Nothing's wrong with me. I'm doing just fine, and you'll be okay too. But what's most important is that him holding up that book at the end, this right here, from Cash Patel. Him holding the book up at the end,
get up there and buck dance
and then
like
saying that you
Samuel,
all need
like
to read
Uncle
this to
Sambo.
understand why and how this happened to me, right? From Cash Patel, Trump's FBI director. What that shows is that what they were saying, the Democrats, was always a lie. This idea that what was happening was, what's the saying? I think quid pro quo, I believe.
Yep.
Right?
Pro quo.
That
It's called let's
Trump
make
is only
a deal.
dismissing the case, but is dismissing it without prejudice so that he can hang it over his head and force
It's
Eric
called
Adams to do
extortion.
what he wants Eric Adams to do.
Yeah, to put
Eric
him
Adams
on
holding
puppet
his book up
strings.
at the end says, no, that's not true. I was going to stand on business and work with Trump regardless, whether the case was dismissed or not, or whether it was dismissed with prejudice or without prejudice. And obviously, now that he's holding that book up at the very end of the video, he's showing this entire time he was with Trump, with the case dismissed or without it dismissed. So the whole talking point that Trump was holding the case over his head, it's a moot point, and it's a lie. It was never true. And I want you to see this, because as soon as I saw Eric Adams held this book up, I said to myself, let me do a quick Google search of Eric Adams and Cash Patel, right? I just wanted to see what came up. And it was so just funny to see. Look at this. Oh, they're so mad. New York Times, Adams praises Cash Patel's book, doubling down on Trump alliance. Adam plugs Patel's book on deep state in remarks after charges drop. Look at this here. Celebrating drop charges. This was a celebration. Celebrating drop charges. Mayor Adams promote Trump FBI director Cash Patel.
Hey, win, lose,
and then there's
welcome.
this one right here. I want to read this article very quickly.
Oh, we got a show for
Adams
you this morning that you're gonna
book
just
by
love.
MAGA appointee Cash Patel moments,
And
after
all of them
charges
deserve to go
dismissed.
right
Oh,
straight
this
to
is
fucking
such
jail.
a salty post right here. What is this from the Brooklyn Daily Eagle? Oh, that's such a salty headline. Adams shills book by MAGA appointee Cash Patel moments after charges drop. Let's read this and then we're going to get on out of here. Like I said, I wasn't going to be here long. Oh, man. In a crystallizing moment during Mayor Eric Adams' speech on Wednesday following court's dismissal with prejudice of federal corruption charges against him, the mayor defiantly waved the book, government gangsters, by President Donald Trump's controversial MAGA FBI head, Cash Patel, encouraging every New Yorker to read it to understand how we can
Now
never
he's trying to sell
allow
his
this
book
to happen
now.
to another innocent
Oh,
American.
man, and we can't even
While
get
the intent
$2.50
of
in
the court's
donations to
decision
our
was to
platform.
loosen the Trump administration's leverage over the mayor by ensuring the case cannot be revived in the future. You see how they're still running with the line? Adams made it clear at that moment that he is still with the administration's agenda. I mean, he was always with it. They were never hanging the charges over his head, right? That was never the case. That's not what was going on. But that's a lie that Democrats kept running with, and it backfired on them. And now they look silly and goofy. Why? Because Eric Adams just proved I was running with Trump the entire time, whether the case was dropped or if it wasn't dropped. And with all that being said, like I said, this was a short one, but we'll be back tomorrow for a regular time stream, right? A regular length stream. That's going to do it.
Please like and subscribe to Frontline Black News. We're giving up free advertisement. We no longer could do it. Now we're charging tariffs for people who are coming up on our platform advertising their shit. We're charging tariffs now. Understand? Yeah.
We can't charge tariffs for sharing their content.
Well, surely they can give us a cup of coffee at least, man. You know what I'm saying?
So now that this case has been dismissed, what is Eric Adams going to do? Is he going to run as a Republican? Is he going to run
probably,
or is he going to run as an independent? Well,
why don't he just run, sir? Why don't Eric Adams run for what he is, just like Cory Booker that we got to talk about? Okay, the Eric Adams and Cory Booker minstrel show. Okay, and it's very, very incredible of how these Negroes has still got their nose up Master's ass. You see what I'm saying? And believing that there's some hope for us. Now, Black family, putting all bullshit aside, now is the time to start our own businesses. Go to the junkyard, get your auto parts. Go get the homie that's a mechanic, give him a couple of dollars. You see what I'm saying? Whatever you do, people, whatever you do, start going to your homies, man, who's got the degrees, in auto mechanics from trade schools and what have you, okay? Them new pieces of shit that is sitting up there on those car lots, don't buy them, okay? It's because they're already talking about the auto dealers out here. Oh, man, we just don't know what we're going to do. And we've been in business for so long, man, it's hurting our businesses. Good. Very, very good. Okay. Now, for all
today was a good day for
who went out and voted for the dump as inhuman shit, we want to make this perfectly clear. Because now all the points that we've been making over the years here, yeah, Twin, exactly. Of saying that this shit is corrupt and Uncle Sambo's and all that. Okay, your house niggering days are over. They're getting ready to throw all you tricks to the wolves. Okay, and then when you look at the Cory Booker minstrel show, right? Isn't it very interesting? He didn't say anything about reparations. Also, too, Black family. Isn't it also too very, very interesting that he didn't even mention the assassination of Dr. King, who was killed today in 1968, okay, 57 years ago. You see what I mean? Isn't that interesting? And why are these Black politicians and Black businessmen so afraid to come out and say, you know what, Black family, they hate us. Okay, the handwriting is on the wall. Okay, now it's time for us to turn within because it's up to us to take care of us, Black family. Now, let's look at all our Black farmers there in the South. Tornadoes, hurricanes, water damage is coming. Okay, we are all we got, Black family. We are all we got. You see what I mean?
28 hours, not one statement about FBA.
Okay, now for you foundational Black Americans, we'll be more than happy to have you over here with us diasporic Africans, because look at all the tariffs that he's putting on the countries over there in Africa. Do you know that the majority of the countries off of his list that he don't want nobody to do business with, the majority of those countries are in Africa or Al-Kibalan? You see what I mean? Okay. Now, the Negroes are going to come out, well, I'm FBA. As an American, man, you're about to get a foot up your ass, man, just to show you what they've been thinking about us all along. Just a nigga, taking us for granted. Yeah, say, and a classic case of this is look at the Cory Booker minstrel show. 25 hours that fool was up there talking nothing but a bunch of bullshit. And you know he had to have a mustache somewhere. You know what I'm saying? He looked at delirious. He looked it out of his mind. It was a minstrel show.
Well, that's the demo rap.
It was a minstrel show.
That's what they've been reduced to, Shabaka, a minstrel show.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now they talk about Jasmine Crockett, her and Governor Rolaids or Hot Wheels or whatever what they want to call old Governor Bud down in the great state Texas. You know what I mean? So what they do in Black family is they bringing back segregation. Okay, what did George Wallace say over 60 years ago? Segregation yesterday, segregation today, and segregation tomorrow. Now it is tomorrow. Okay, so you still got this high-tech segregation. Okay, now all the smartphones, all this computer laptop shit, don't buy it, because what's going to happen is they will have no choice except to start having clearance sales to get rid of that inventory. There's going to be a whole lot of small businesses being shut down, but the corporations is going to bounce back, you know, from that rigged stock market crash yesterday. You see what I'm saying? Everybody, my 401k plan and all that. You would have done better taking your money and buried it in the backyard. Because the banks are getting ready to fuck you around too. Well, we're all in this here together. Meanwhile, Mighty Whitey gets richer. They hate on us. Well, Shabaka, you're a black racist guy and all that. I don't control no police departments. We don't control no automobile manufacturers. We damn sure don't control no law firms, you see. And then looking at old Baldilocks right there in New York City, who I believe was a police captain or a lawyer or something like that.
Yeah.
He ain't got no concern about the black community. You see? You know, so where's Uncle Sambo, you know, buck dancing? I'm talking about you, Samuel L. Jackson. But I will always love you for the role you played in A Time to Kill. I want to make that perfectly clear. Now, what's getting ready to happen now, people, guess what other industry is getting ready to get fucked around, okay? So all you bed wenches that want to go out there to Hollywood and all you Billy Porter types who want to go out there to Hollywood, unpack. Don't waste your time.
Right.
They're going to be throwing you to the streets. You see what I mean? You see what I'm saying? So once again, Black family, we is all we got.
Yeah. All right,
and that's the only thing, in my opinion, that's gonna save us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's see what's happening with Eric Adams. What he gonna do next?
All right.
Because the election's in November. He's running for re-election, the mayor of NYC. And now this has been dismissed. So what he gonna do next?
Gonna go
Mayor
up there
Adams,
all
a judge
spring and summer and lie to the
formally
black community.
My fellow New Yorkers, today
My fellow
finally
New Yorkers
marks the end of this chapter.
But the judge in the case made it clear he was not pleased, saying everything here smacks of a bargain. Dismissal of the indictment in exchange for immigration policy concessions. The charges were dropped with prejudice, meaning they cannot be brought back again. The mayor's attorney talking with ABC's Eric Katursky, saying the whole case was politically motivated from the beginning, hinging on an airline upgrade.
Politicians get upgrades. They get corner suites. They get better tables at restaurants. They get free appetizers. That's how our country works. Those kinds of gratuities, they're not federal crimes.
Well, meanwhile, Mayor Adams is expected to refocus his re-election campaign tomorrow. He's going to attend the first forum of the candidates running for his office. So how is today's ruling going to affect the race? Picking up that part of the coverage tonight, Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon.
The corruption case against Mayor Eric Adams may be over, but even in dismissing the charges, Judge Dale Ho noted that it was what the Trump administration wanted, and that Adams now might be more beholden to the demands of the federal government than to the wishes of his own constituents. That's still a concern we're hearing from voters.
Didn't we just say that?
He's doing too much to help the Trump administration, because I don't understand how otherwise those charges would be dropped. There was no legitimate reason for dropping them. So it has to be he's in cahoots with
What's
Trump.
And it's been
legitimate
exactly the message from those looking
about
to
any
replace
of
him.
these crooks?
Eric Adams has put himself above the needs of New Yorkers at almost every opportunity while he's been the mayor of our city, and today is no exception.
The charges that was levied against Mayor Adams are no different than the charges levied against many other politicians who have beat said charges. Why the big hubbub?
This voter says he still has faith in Adams.
Mayor Adams has a real shot to be reelected, and it means
Then
this is
he
the
is
worst day that
stupid.
Andrew Cuomo has had probably since he was forced to leave office.
No response tonight from Cuomo. Adams has work to do to catch up to him in the polls.
I'm now happy that our city can finally close the book on this and focus solely on the future of our great city.
And while Adams talked about closing a book, he also promoted one written by FBI Director Kash Patel, something another primary opponent, Council Speaker Adrienne Adams, was quick to criticize, as she hoped he'd be more focused on the council's latest budget.
What we've seen, though, particularly today, is, holding up a book from a member of the Trump administration. So I will let that speak for itself.
Tonight, the mayor made a quick appearance here at a gala for the National Action Network, and he'll be back here tomorrow as the organization hosts a forum with mayoral candidates.
Show.
For the first time,
Another
sharing a
damn
stage with several
minstrel
opponents
show.
as he works to turn his legal victory into a political one. In Midtown, Sonia Rincon, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
That's Al Sharpton shit.
Yeah.
All right, we have to talk about a shakeup in the race for mayor. After months of speculation, Mayor Eric Adams has made it official. He's running as an independent, but he maintains he's still a Democrat. Comes on a pivotal day for his former Democratic opponents. News 4's Andrew Siff live in Midtown with their reactions tonight. Andrew.
Right, Natalie, this news arrived right in the middle of a key candidates forum, the National Action Network, chaired by the Reverend Al Sharpton, and then all of the candidates suddenly confronting the news that the Democratic primary is moving forward without the mayor. Mayor Eric Adams made it official.
Though I am still a Democrat, I am announcing that I will forego the Democratic primary for mayor and appeal directly to all New Yorkers as an independent candidate in the general election.
And his former rivals confronted the disappearance of the incumbent from the Democratic primary.
That was one of the worst kept secrets, I think, that New Yorkers have seen in a while. We could have figured that out. The breadcrumbs were already there.
He can't escape accountability at the polls. New Yorkers are done with Eric Adams' corruption.
Doesn't change our strategy at all because Andrew Cuomo is still running for Eric Adams' second term.
The mayor's move to an independent candidacy didn't sit well with Democratic voters who backed him last time.
He started out good, really good, and I was really glad and happy, but I think he got lost along the way.
Today's development hours before the deadline for Democrats to hand in signatures and get on the ballot.
I wish him well. I'll see him in November. I expect to be the Democratic nominee. I think he knows that I have a very good chance to win, so we'll meet again.
Mayor Adams can run as an independent. If he chooses, he can run in the Democratic primary. If he chooses.
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who's been leading in the polls, could absorb much of the mayor's Democratic base. Meanwhile, since entering the race, Cuomo hasn't said much about his own 2021 resignation amid sexual harassment accusations that he's denied. What is your message to the women of this city who feel like you have not acknowledged or been contrite about the way you treated your own staff before you resigned?
Yeah, we've discussed that many, many times. There was a report that was done about 4 or 5 years ago. I said it was a political report at the time. I said nothing was going to come of it, and absolutely nothing came of it.
Right.
Although, as a point of fact, the Justice Department did conclude in 2024 that Cuomo created a hostile workplace environment. As for the primary, all of the candidates' signatures are due tonight at midnight. We should know in the coming days just how many Democrats wind up on the ballot. We're live in Midtown. Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
Democrats wind up in fucking jail. How about that?
We have team coverage on today's decision, including how the other candidates for mayor are
reacting to this.
News 4 Government Affairs reporter Melissa So has responses. Melissa.
Adam and Natalie, as you mentioned, the mayor's rivals are all piling on to him at the point when these charges were dismissed. Some insist that he's getting away with corruption crimes, though Mayor Adams
The worst
has
leadership
always
ever.
insisted
Yeah, you right
that he
about
is
that,
innocent.
twin.
But while today was the moment that
And
Mayor
any of
Eric
these
Adams
sorry
might have
black
been
ass
waiting for,
politicians
his
is the worst
political
leadership
future
ever.
remains
Look at
uncertain.
Obama. Look at Karen
Walking
Bass.
down the
Look at
same old
London
steps of
Bridge.
Gracie Mansion
Look at
today
Eric
had to
Adams.
feel different for Mayor
What's
Eric
the
Adams.
Cook's
But if
name
the
there
weight
in
of the world
Chicago?
was
Brandon
suddenly off his
Johnson.
shoulders, his body language did not give that impression.
Today we turned the page. We move forward together.
The mayor notably not saying what moving forward will look like. For instance, will he file the petitions that are due tomorrow to get on the Democratic primary ballot? The ruling came down just as Mayor Adams was finishing his speech at the National Action Network convention. The crowd responding when he said he had never been beholden to President Trump.
I don't know who you think and got bobblehead with.
How are you feeling about his candidacy?
Well, I feel that this is, if the charges are to be dismissed, it should be dismissed in this way, that we do not feel that the mayor has anything over his head.
On the campaign trail today, the mayor's rivals reacting to the news.
New Yorkers are fed up with Eric Adams' leadership.
Does it change anything in the race?
Not at all. Not at all.
We want to remind people that it wasn't just about flight upgrades. This is a man who illegally had a campaign donor scheme. And the fact that the judge, unfortunately, vowed Trump is appalling.
You see how they're using his own people against him.
Held up a copy of a book called Government Gangsters, authored by President Trump's FBI director, Kash Patel. That could be one sign the mayor's not planning to run as a Democrat and perhaps will mount a third-party run instead.
And you watch, he'll be out on the campaign trail, so it may be Cuomo the Democrat, Zorahan working family Spark, Eric Adams the Independent, Curtis Sliwa the Republican, and who knows who else jumps in.
Who else?
We begin today's show in.
Oh my God! So as y'all can see, it's a clusterfuck going on in New York City right now.
Sir, didn't I tell you that this would happen? I'm just an old bastard. I don't know what I'm talking about. But didn't I say that all that we just saw here that has now come to pass, didn't we say this here 2 or 3 months ago?
Yep. I said he was going to run as an independent.
Well, you paid. Yeah, you got that one. And I said the crooked bastard will go unconvicted, which happens right there.
Yep. The case was dismissed. Yeah.
We knew that. So who got paid? How much? Who knows? Maybe they had Stormy Daniels go in there and do some bobbing and weaving, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This is just ridiculous. You can't make this shit up, people. You see what I'm saying? You know, you can't make this shit up. Why do you think they always skew us on these StreamYards and on this social media all together? Well, you guys are black racists. You niggers don't deserve no reparations. And the only thing we did was build your damn country, if not the whole damn Western Hemisphere. You see what I mean? You got the orange dude up here with this gangster ass extortionary shit on these tariffs. And he ain't extorting Canada. He ain't putting tariffs on these other countries that he had mentioned. And a lot of them are African nations too, by the way. So that's good for you tethers over there as well too.
European nations. Shabaka, he going after European nations, the EU. The EU was mad about it. He going after them. He going after, it's not just Africa going after Shabaka. There's a whole bunch of countries he's going after with this.
Okay, but keep in mind though, Brother Paris, is that the African countries got the raw materials that they need to make all this shit, okay? The laptops, the cell phones, the Google cars. You know what I'm saying? Is he, hey, twin, is he putting tariffs on the Google cars, or are they still going around in circles?
Oh my God. My Canadian friend says they're majority affected. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. That's good. Now,
Here's why it's good for us, Black family, because it's forcing us in the corner to come out there to lean and sheen and blazing days like Ali used to do, except on the business level. With these idiots getting rid of DEI, hey man, that there was the best thing to happen, because guess what now? We ain't got to hire them. Right. So therefore, when your critics come on there like how they do with me on Facebook, oh Shabaka, you arrogant black racist son of a bitch, and all kind of foul crap they call me, right. All this here proved our point that we've been saying for the last 5 years. And please like and subscribe to the Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced like page, okay? And we're going to be doing a StreamYard for Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Brother Parrish, a special edition. You know, I had to get with you, man, because I'm stupid, man. I'm still stuck in the 20th century. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we're going to be talking about what can we do for ourselves. Once again, I cannot emphasize that enough, okay? Because now is the perfect opportunity. Our opponent, ladies and gentlemen, which is racist white supremacy, he's got both his hands down right now. Now we can go on there and strike. You see what I'm saying? Build up for ourselves. Get your auto parts from the junkyard. You know what I'm saying? You know, get your auto parts from the junkyard, and you don't have to go over there and pay for that overpriced pieces of shit that are designed to fail. For all you car lot dealers out there, yeah, hopefully you get stuck with your inventory. Oh, and by the way, them Teslas, from what I understand, sales are falling on them, so that's great news. So Stinky Bird and Little Stink, you know what I'm saying? You know, it'll hurt them, you see. And by the way, Elon Musk is not an African, okay? He is a Boer. He is Dutch, okay? Let's make that perfectly clear. Now, all you all-inclusive Negroes, okay, I'm not going to crumb bum on you. If anything, and this is real, I feel very, very sorry for you. Okay, I really do. I feel very, very, very sorry for you with this all-inclusive shit. And remember the old raggedy ass broad out of California? I'm not gonna do nothing strictly for black people now.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No, because
now to turn into ourselves, black family, because our very, very survival depends on it.
Right. No, exactly, twin. No,
exactly, twin. And then not to mention that on this day, Dr. King was assassinated. Yeah. But one thing though about Dr. King, may his soul rest in peace. Okay, he did state, which was proven, is that he led our people into a burning house with integration.
All right, let's get to the musky man. The musky man.
Yeah, Stinky. Yeah, what's up with Stinky?
Big Stink thought he was going to buy the election in Wisconsin, as our good brother Kevin had alluded to. He lost. So
okay, that's great news. That's a start. That's a start. That's a start. That's a start. Okay. All right. Now,
in Wisconsin, where liberal Judge Susan Crawford defeated the Trump-backed Brad Schimmel for a seat on Wisconsin's state Supreme Court in the most expensive judicial election in U.S. history. Many view the race as a referendum on Elon Musk, the world's richest man and Trump megadonor, who's been heading the Trump administration's efforts to dismantle key federal agencies. Judge Crawford won 55% of the vote, even though Musk spent over $25 million on the race to help elect Schimmel. On Sunday night, Musk gave out $1 million checks to 2 Wisconsin voters, one of whom happened to be the chair of the Wisconsin Federation of Young Republicans. Judge Crawford made a reference to Musk during her victory speech.
As a little girl growing up in Chippewa Falls, I never could have imagined that I'd be taking on the richest man in the world. for justice in Wisconsin. And we won. And Wisconsins stood up and said loudly that justice does not have a price. Our courts are not for sale.
While Democrats are celebrating the results in Wisconsin, as expected, Republicans won 2 closely watched House races in conservative districts in Florida, but the races were much closer than in November. Joining us from Madison, Wisconsin is John Nichols, the nation's national affairs correspondent. His new article headlined, "Wisconsin Rejects Musk's Money, Trump's Lies, and the Right-Wing Assault on the Judiciary." And John, overall, I think it's being estimated that there was something like $100 million spent on the state judicial race. Can you talk about the significance of the liberal Judge Crawford's victory by quite a large margin?
It was quite a large margin, Amy. And let me tell you, I don't think we can overestimate the significance. Going into this race, when people would ask me about it, I would say there's no middle ground. If Crawford wins, it will be a huge signal that Americans are rejecting, obviously, the money that Elon Musk is using to try and buy elections, but also they're rejecting the direction of the Trump administration. On the other hand, if Brad Schimmel had won, it would have been taken by Trump and Musk as a total vindication for what they're doing. The reason that was so is because Wisconsin is an absolute battleground state. It's incredibly closely divided. In the last 7 elections, 5 for president of the United States, 5 have been decided by under 30,000 votes. So this is a state where things are usually very, very close, but it wasn't that way on Tuesday. Susan Crawford did win by the better part of 200,000 votes. She did win that 55-45 victory. And what's perhaps most significant is she won communities and regions of the state that had voted for Trump just 5 months ago in a very, very high turnout election. So as I suggest, I just don't think you can overestimate the significance. This is a huge signal from a battleground state that Americans are genuinely upset, genuinely angry, I think, with Trump and with Musk.
And John, that wasn't the only race in Wisconsin. There was also an election for state superintendent of public instruction. What happened there?
Well, you're exactly right, Juan. And the race for superintendent of public instruction, which is the state's top education job, and is a very significant job. It's the post that current governor Tony Evers held before he became governor, was intensely fought. It was a battle between the incumbent, Jill Underly, who has been an absolute supporter of public education. She's a former rural educator, versus a woman named Brittany Kinzer, who was supported by the Republicans and who was supported by advocates for voucher programs that would take money out of public education. Very clear choice. Kinzer had a lot of resources. She was backed by a lot of the same campaigners that were out there for Brad Schimmel in the Supreme Court race. And Jill Underly won. It wasn't quite as big a victory as the Supreme Court race, but it was roughly a 53-47 victory, a very clear, solid win. So in both statewide races, in the battleground state of Wisconsin, the clearly progressive candidates won.
And John, could you comment on the results in the 2 congressional special elections in Florida?
Sure. Those are important elections because, special elections in the first weeks of a new president's term will often give us an indication of, kind of where sentiment is going. Now, these were heavily gerrymandered districts. They were designed to elect Republicans. There was no question of that. And the prospect that a Democrat would actually win one of these seats was pretty hopeful on the part of any Democrat who thought that would happen. However, there was a huge shift in both of the Florida districts toward the Democratic candidates. Both of whom, by the way, were not, famous people per se or particularly powerful figures. And they were running against very prominent officials in Florida on the Republican side. And yet what we saw is that counties in rural and more urban Florida that had actually been, pretty supportive of Trump, in some cases shifted toward the Democrats. And overall, it was a result that I think Democrats can point to and do a sophisticated analysis. Essentially, what they need to say is this. Look, these weren't districts that we were going to win, but these are districts where you could get a measure of where the sentiment is moving in the United States. And that's what I would say. Remember, we have a lot of congressional districts across the U.S. that Republicans hold, but that are much, much more closely divided. It would be an easier run for the Democrat. So if you see this kind of shift in districts across the country in 2026, there's simply no question that the Democrats would take the House of Representatives.
So, again, those were two special elections in Florida for the seats of the embattled National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and for Gates, who was named as Attorney General, nominated by Trump, but then ultimately had to pull out of Congress around various drug and sex scandals. But I wanted to go back to Wisconsin for 1 minute and ask not only the significance for the country. I mean, if you take what Elon Musk said, he said it's for the future of Western civilization, but his candidate was defeated. But what this means, for example, in particular about abortion rights, as the Democrats keep the majority on the Wisconsin State Supreme Court, John?
Sure. In Wisconsin, it was a very, very clear choice. Susan Crawford has been a very strong supporter of abortion rights for a long time. She, in addition to being in the past a lawyer for labor unions, she was a lawyer in cases brought by Planned Parenthood. And so there was no question of where she stood on the issue, and she put it front and center in her campaign. On the other hand, Brad Schimmel is a longtime Republican politician who'd been very closely associated with the anti-choice position, and in fact was backed by ardent advocates of a ban on abortion rights. And so the choice couldn't have been clearer. And I think that there are always people who like to tell you that abortion is fading as an issue, that as time passes, perhaps it's not as resonant. But when I was talking to voters yesterday, I was struck by the very strong turnout of young voters. I was at a polling place on the University of Wisconsin campus shortly before the polls closed. And there were literally young women running in to cast their vote, trying to make it in time, before the closing of the polls. And in talking to these folks, you found a number of them were putting the issue of abortion rights very high on their list. So I think it continues to be a very resonant issue.
To ask you about all this money that Elon Musk is pouring into these political campaigns. I mean, talk about taking Citizens United, the Supreme Court decision, of putting it on steroids. I mean, your sense of the legality of all of this, of offering $1 million to particular voters?
Sure. This Musk spending and the way he did his spending has been incredibly controversial in Wisconsin. The Attorney General did bring an action against him. Other legal groups have been, raising this issue. It didn't get litigated before the election, but I don't think there's any question that there's going to be a continuing examination of how Musk spent his money and of real questions of whether there were violations of Wisconsin election law. But there's something deeper as regards all this one. Even if it was legal, what we need to understand is that we had a situation in Wisconsin where the wealthiest man in the world tried to buy an election. He poured his money in as roughly $25 million, in addition to all these other gimmicks, all these other stunts. And I think that a lot of political analysts would have told you, well, that's going to win because money wins in politics. But that didn't happen in Wisconsin. So when we talk about the significance of this, beyond the legalities, there's a political significance. The message out of Wisconsin is that Musk's money doesn't win. And that message matters for Democrats, obviously going into the 2025 fall elections, as well as the 2026 midterm elections. It also matters for Republicans in Congress, because there's no question Elon Musk has tried to intimidate them by threatening to use his money to punish any Republican that stands up to Donald Trump's agenda. Well, now those Republicans have a counter narrative, another piece of information which says that, yeah, maybe Musk's money could protect you in a primary, but it might not be enough to protect you in a general election. And so we've got a very significant signal out of Wisconsin about money in politics in general and about Elon Musk's money in particular.
I mean, it is remarkable that one of Elon Musk's $1 million recipients went to the chairman of the Wisconsin College Republicans, a person who had worked for Ron Johnson to get him elected, and in the fall of 2024 worked as for Turning Point Action, Charlie Kirk's group. But I want to turn to Texas for 1 minute as we wrap up. In an interview with the New York Times, Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries accused Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott of slow-walking a special election to replace Congressmember Sylvester Turner in Houston, who died last month. This is really significant. I mean, it looks like Abbott is not going to call a special election, at least at this point. But we'll keep it open, this seat, which would most likely go to a Democrat representing Houston, of course, until the November 2026 election. We just have 30 seconds.
Sure. I've written about these issues a lot in the past. Governors playing with special election dates. It is an absolute assault on democracy. We need to understand that congressional seats, House seats, are filled in elections. They aren't appointed. And so when you have a governor of one party saying, we're not going to let people elect a successor to a member who has passed away, that governor is saying that I'm going to leave you, the people of a major American city, unrepresented for the better part of a year and a half. It is absolutely unacceptable. And Texans should be raising an outcry about what Governor Abbott appears to be doing.
John Nichols, we thank you for being with us, the nation's national affairs correspondent. We'll link to your various articles at democracynow.org.
I got one more, Shabaka, in regards to Elon Musk.
Okay, stinky bird. Okay.
And we have breaking news right now. Sources tell ABC News Elon Musk could be taking a step back from his role in the administration. Musk is classified as a special government employee, which only lasts 130 days, but it's been widely rumored the White House could take steps to extend his role. Let's bring in ABC News senior reporter Catherine Falders for more on that. Catherine, what are you hearing?
Yeah, so we know what Trump has said publicly here, but the timing of this in terms of what our sources are telling us that Trump is saying privately to advisors today is significant because, of course, it comes on the heels of that Wisconsin Supreme Court race where the Democrat there won. And we know that Musk poured millions of dollars. Musk and his groups poured millions of dollars into that race. So significant that Trump is saying this behind the scenes, but also important context to this is just a couple of days ago in the Oval Office, Trump was asked very specifically about Musk's status as a special government employee, that 130-day limit. And Trump did indicate on Monday that Musk would be taking a step back in some way. Trump said he thinks that Musk is amazing. And he said, quote, but I also think he's got a big company to run. And so at some point, he's going to be going back. He wants to go back to his company. So essentially, Trump indicated there that after that limit was up, that Musk could be taking a step back. Now, look, some of Musk's defenders, according to sources that we're talking to in the White House, say that it's overblown, that Musk is being pushed out. And look, we're not saying that he's being pushed out. He could be taking a step back. You and I both know that Trump has lots of advisors inside the White House and outside the White House who he talks to every day and seeks advice from. So that will still continue. But in terms of Musk's employment status and it being up potentially at the end of May, that is obviously what seems to be a little bit uncertain at this point. And it is important context that Trump is indicating behind the scenes that Musk will take some form of step back here.
So could Musk stay with the administration, but in some other capacity?
Look, anything is possible. This gets back into our discussion about his status as a special government employee. Okay. I'm not sure, at least right now, that he will, unless the White House extends that in some way or he goes somewhere else in government. It appears that his status as a special government employee could be up at the end of May. But that, again, doesn't mean that he won't be advising President Trump Trump isn't saying behind the scenes that he's soured on Musk. In fact, he remains satisfied and pleased with what Musk has done across the government in terms of cost cutting, despite it being challenged in the courts and despite the pushback here. So I'm sure he will remain a voice in President Trump's ear, regardless of what happens here in the next few weeks.
All right, senior reporter Catherine Falders, thank you.
On April.
All right, what's your thoughts on Elon Musk?
He deserves to go right straight to fucking jail. Okay? He deserves to go right straight to fucking jail. And all these crooked ass politicians, okay? Being a crook is the new norm. You see what I mean?
Well, Elon Musk is a politician, Shabaka. He's not even
what he's doing is, yeah, but he's spreading his money around, you know, to get him on his puppet strings. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then look how they shadow banned us. You see?
Yeah.
You see? You know, look how they shadow ban us. They call us black racists. You know what I'm saying? We're in no position to implement any kind of racism. We don't control no high-tech firms, okay? We don't control no major banks, okay? We don't control no major industries. And what it is, black family, that we as a people on a collective basis are dependent upon our oppressors for essential services. That, black family, is extremely dangerous for us.
Well, it's been like that since integration, Shabaka.
Well, you know, just sitting up there begging for a cup of coffee at a lunch counter. They probably pissed in the coffee, probably threw snot and all the other kind of crap, you know, at the plates. See, it doesn't add up, black family. You're sitting here, okay, talking about that you part of these individuals who are dedicated to your destruction. But the cold part about it is, when you look at black on black violence, why are we out here attacking people that look like us?
Been programmed and conditioned to do.
Oh, absolutely. And Hollywood perpetuates this bullshit. See?
All right, so the last topic of the morning is going to be this
Demetria.
Ridiculous protest that they're planning on Saturday. The whites to protest Trump and Elon Musk, and they want us to go out there and rally with them. And black family, stay the fuck on. Don't waste your time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, see, when it comes to shit like that there, Brother Che, okay, to prove your point even further, we stay away from it. We stay away from it, okay? All right, it's because they have to do us in. Just like, look what happened down there in Orlando, Florida, where you had all the hillbillies go, one of your niggers gonna go back to Africa. But I was in Vegas, Bob. See? But look how much they hate you. Look how much they hate us.
They're not even Americans, though, Shabaka. That's the thing about it.
No, I'm talking about these redneck, hillbilly, pot gut, beer drinking, shotgun toting, hillbilly fat fucks. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and they're not American, Shabaka.
What are they?
Europeans.
Yeah, they are Europeans. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's for sure. And they are most definitely expressing how they honestly feel, which I appreciate. You see what I mean? And then, we have to realize that if it wasn't for the continent of a Cuba Africa, in other words, I'm just going to start describing it as the continent that is south of Europe, that is due east of South America, that is due west of India. That's what I'm going to call it. Due east, due west. You see, that's what I'm going to call it.
Yep.
All the world's raw materials that they say for Europeans to flex economical power over us. But we have to return that power. You see what I'm saying? You can get Uncle Sambo up there to buck dance all he wants, okay? And we still got the crumb bomb on the minstrel show that Cory Booker did.
Shabaka, the people on the continent got to get on code and
I agree with you on that. Yeah, I agree with you on that there, Brother Che. You are absolutely correct on that because you got those neo-colonialists over there. That say, and what's going to happen is, in my opinion, it's going to be an implosion. It's going to come together all at once. Hopefully it won't be at the expense, of a major tragedy. You see what I'm saying? But we are all we got worldwide, Black family, because these crackers do not care about us. They hate us. They hate us.
Shabaka, the diaspora needs to get that memo. Right now,
exactly. Because, see, what we have to do, we have to go through the Office of Neocolonialism. You know what I'm saying? Their Office of Governmental Inefficiency. You know what I mean? Everything you said, you're right, Brother Paris. Mark this day, April 4th, 2025. Me and Brother Paris finally agreed on that issue right there. He's hitting it from the left. I'm hitting it from the right. And then, hold on. And then not to mention that Dr. King, when he was assassinated, shortly as we all know, before his assassination, he did realize his mistake. Black family, in honor of his memory, let us not repeat that same mistake. Everybody else is capitalizing except us.
Yep. All right, Shabaka, let me play Demetria K.
All right. Okay, and I'm going to mute out. Okay, let Demetria K stay what she got to stay.
April 5th, a protest called Hands Off is supposed to be taking place nationwide, where they expect over 1 million people to participate. Now, specifically, the protest mission is to say, we must stop Trump and Musk illegal billionaire power grab. Now they're saying they want hands off of Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, our jobs, our wildness, our bodies, cancer research, our neighbors, and a whole host of other things. Well, of course, Black Americans have something to say about it. Check it out.
Right now, Black people. No, we already had this conversation. Don't you take your tail and go march nowhere.
Right.
We are on nap session. We don't have no capes. Okay.
Right.
We ain't Captain Saving nobody.
That's right.
Okay. We ain't going. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
We ain't.
People are going to march in the United States on April 5th. 1 million people.
Sit your black down.
So as you saw there was a small snippet of a compilation of Black content creators basically saying, Black people, this is not your business. Right. And as the brother said at the end, sit your black down, right? And I would say, yes, that is not our fight. Now, of course, the 92%.
Damn, Demetria, look like you got it on a black leather jacket right there, sister. Are you sending a message there, Demetria?
We're not involved in anything anymore in this country because no one on the other side, whether you're immigrants, Asians, or anybody else, y'all didn't come help us, so we're not going to help you. Then there's a lot of other people who did not vote for Kamala that maybe sat on the couch, or some that voted for Trump that was like, yeah, this ain't got nothing to do with us. Y'all being everybody else.
Somebody is finally getting a damn memo.
But now y'all expect for us to show up, and let's keep it a buck. Black Americans, yeah, we own the blueprint to romping and stomping and marching and protesting. We always have done that, but rarely does anybody else come to help us. Now, I will go a step further and say this. Black people, while April 5th is going on and all these other people saying hands off, we need to be sitting down at the table with our family and our friends and saying, okay, what can we do to push the ball forward for our own community? How do we go about building Black businesses? How do we go about snatching that $2 trillion dollars out of the oppressor's pocket and putting it back into ours? How do we take that $2 trillion that's also in the Asian community, the Arab and Hispanics, because they set up shop in our neighborhoods? How do we get money and put it into our own black business.
Wow.
See, that's what we need to do on April 5th. Now,
I
ain't
am
to be sitting
just
down eating
fucking
popcorn,
amazed.
and
Somebody
and
finally
kicking
got
and
the
ha-ha-ing and
fucking
popping fans
memo.
all over the place. We need to really be sitting down and say, okay, now we got our own attention. What do we do with it? So anyway, y'all let me know what you think of that. And please subscribe to this channel
like
and my channel.
Subscribe to Frontline Black News. Sorry, Demetria. And we need subscribers too, honey. We'll work with you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But see, people, guess what? See, this is resurrection of the mental dead. And we own the hashtag to that. So we want to let that there be perfectly clear as well, too. So people are finally starting to get the fucking message for us to become self-sufficient and do for ourselves. After all, not only did we build the United States, we built the goddamn infrastructures for Latin America and Europe too.
Mm-hmm. Well, all that money was used to build up all of that. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? But then they want us to be down there on our knees. Nobody knows the sorrow I feel. They want more Uncle Remus's. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. Look at that bald-headed idiot that you had right there in New York. Look at Uncle Tim Scott.
Look at Corey.
I'm not going to do nothing strictly for black people now. See, now it's turning into the bite us in the ass, black family. But we could still switch the opponent around, and if Jab was in here, I know he's out doing his road work. I would like to ask Jab for some of his analogies on that. You see what I mean? And then what we also need to do, black family, we got to get our own blacks professional sports franchises, okay? Because with our talent level, the general public will still come to pay to see us. Okay.
Shout out to Ice Cube for the big three, and shout out to the brother that came up with the the UFL and the XFL.
Okay, more power to them, more power to them, and then take that revenue from that, parlay it off into our own private educational institutions. Okay. Well, we'll have our own scholars. We're not looking for nobody's validation, and start building up our own industries. And by the time you get my age, Brother Che, and after I'm long gone, and you always say, well, that arrogant black bastard Shabaka Sankori is no longer with us.
We're gonna live to 120 at least.
Man, then I'll be Governor Hot Wheels and Governor Rolaids and shit. You know what I'm saying? But however, life goes on. If it's born, it must die. You see what I'm saying? Then of course, too, every day is a blessing. Don't get me wrong. And also, too, not getting off topic, Brother Che. As you know, the movie actor Val Kilmer had passed away in the last few days. Okay. And I liked it, Val Kilmer, particularly to me, the best role he played, man. 2 roles that I dug Val Kilmer in. When he played Doc Holliday, and then also, too, the role he played in Heat.
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about Heat.
Yeah, he was cold in Heat. Brother Che, I could take you right there to the same damn corner where they filmed that scene at.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I could take you right there to that same damn corner in downtown LA where they filmed that shit at. And then also, too, black family, I was in Los Angeles recently. Mac 285, it was off the hook. And I did stop by over there off Arlington and Jefferson, as you told me, Brother Che. Mr. Nasheed was not in. They were closed. He had tight security. I love the artwork around it. You know what I mean? And the brother did tell me that he's not in. So I think their hours are kind of stagnant. So the next time I go to Los Angeles, I'm going to try to pull a bunny rabbit out my hat, to at least go on there and see it,
I think it's Tuesday through what was it, Tuesday through Friday?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and it was, I believe, on a Sunday that I went, you know. So over there in that neighborhood, it's still blighted. It's still looking bad, you know. And like I said,
in the West Adams district.
Yes, sir. And then I did go through Leimert Park, you know what I mean? And once again, you know, from what I've seen, this is just preliminary, not, you know, actual, but just from what I've seen overall, you know, we're losing our Black businesses, and we got to bring them back, Black family. You know what I'm saying? We got to bring them back.
Then there used to be a bunch of them on Crenshaw.
Yes, sir. That's the Crenshaw district of what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So they tore them down. What happened with the area where the total experience used to be?
Okay, it's still a vacant lot.
Okay.
It's still a vacant lot. And then the actual park, Leimert Park itself, is only like 50 yards long and 30 yards wide. You know what I'm saying? You know, I saw a bunch of baskets over there. You know, people homeless out there, Black family.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's sad, man. It really is sad.
Full overdrive with this Olympics, right? So they get.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And what's going to happen is that all the homeless encampments, what they're going to do for LA within about a year, they're going to start doing a whole bunch of sweeps through downtown, through South Central, you know, to upgrade the images, because the whole world is going to be looking at it. You know, that same bullshit like what Gruesome Newsom did up there in San Francisco when what was that there? They was having a Pacific Asian Summit, economical summit up there. Yeah. So they're going to do a lot of window dressing, you see what I mean? And whatnot. You see?
Shabaka, what's happening with your Lakers? I heard they lost to the Warriors.
Yeah, man, they need work. But just as long as the Warriors come through and beat them buckets.
No, we're going to beat them. We got them 9-0. It's supposed to be 10-0.
Man, well, who knows? Well, hopefully they'll come back being the underdog, man, and shut down, you know, them Denver buckets. You know what I mean?
Jay Kelly was talking about that last night. He was like, damn, y'all got our number.
Yeah, you know, need work. Just have to rebuild the team. And then also, as we had stated, is that with all this revenue, man, that's going through, that's missing the Black community, we got to reinvest in ourselves. I cannot emphasize that enough. They know if we reinvest in ourselves, that we will be a formidable opponent.
Baseball season started back up today, Shabaka. And guess who the Rockies are playing?
Who?
The former A's. What is it? A's? The Oakland A's, the former Oakland A's.
Former Oakland A's, they're still the Oakland A's. They're soon to be the Las Vegas A's in about 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. All righty. Well, it's still early for baseball season. You know, they're winding down preseason. So we're getting ready to get off into there, and then we'll talk about that in October to see who's going where. And once again, we got to control these industries, Black families, because we generate the revenue and take that revenue out of that industry right there and invest in our youth. You see? Because we don't want our little Black girls and Black boys growing up talking about that a man could be a mommy and a girl could be the daddy. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's sickening. You know, it's sick. I mean, when I look at these videos of a Black man with a 250-pound Becky that looks like, you know, something from Mars, talking about he's got it good. Oh my. You know. Then our women go out here and continue to bed wench. And as soon as you say something about that, oh, she can do whatever she wants. But look at other bed wenches that marry these white boys who wind up being sparring partners. You see, look at Aaron, what he did to his black wife.
Yep.
See, well, you're just an old racist bastard, Shabaka. I don't control no banks. I don't control no police departments.
Right.
That's not racist. Self-sufficiency is not racist.
Right. It's self-preservation.
The DEI agenda did not work. It was junk.
Just like the affirmative action didn't work. It was junk.
Exactly. Yeah, main benefit of affirmative action, as we stated before, was white women.
Mm-hmm. And the same goes with DEI.
Yeah, exactly. And then out there, hooray for Hollywood. Look how they did for Billy Porter. Got him up there wearing a dress. Now he's out there homeless. Yeah, twin. Yeah, Mac 285. Yeah, tell me why I'm lying. You know what I'm saying? We are black first, absolutely, because we are all we got.
Right.
See, and it's that simple, Mac 285. Even in this fucked up, warped part of the galaxy, 2 + 2 must equal 4. 4 + 4 must equal 8. 8 + 8 must equal 16. 16 + 16 must equal 32. 32 + 32 must equal 64.
Yeah.
See? And if it does not, then there is no reality.
Right.
See? And then you got this bald-headed ass, bowling ball looking motherfucker by the name of Eric Adams, who's on puppet strings. We don't need tricks like that. We don't need Brandon Johnsons.
Let's go.
We don't need no damn Karen Basses.
Right.
Because they countermand our progress on a collective basis.
Mm-hmm.
All they got to do is get their minds right.
Otherwise, we will have a failure to communicate.
Exactly. We already got the failure to communicate. You see? And then keep in mind, for all you other groups of people out there, that don't mean that we hate you, although we might be justified in doing such, but we don't. We just want to be self-sufficient.
Right.
You see? That's it. We just want to be self-sufficient.
So keep your black asses at home tomorrow. Don't get involved in that bullshit they got going.
Exactly.
Hands off shit is tomorrow, Shabaka.
Okay. And then, on top of it as well, too, look what white America selected. What does that tell you? As in human shit.
And we want to make that perfectly clear.
Because dump is crazy. Then you got Stinky Bird up there and Little Stink, you know?
Yeah.
See? And Elon Musk, you ain't no African cat. You are Dutch. You are a boy. And then, if you have the clip readily available, Brother Che, of Sister Mary McKeeba, of what she said so many years ago.
No, I don't have it available.
Okay.
But we did play it on a previous episode.
Yeah, exactly. So please pull up the back episode on that there. And Mac 285, you ain't lying, man. Them Negroes got to go, man.
Right.
We all the same. Well, come bring your ass out here, Mighty White, if we're all the same. Let's see here. This is April. Come check with me in about 60 days when it's June. Out here in this desert.
What's the temperature right now, Shabaka?
We are, well, I'm looking at my temp gauge right here. They got some stock market shit up here. You know, that's all red, but it's about 60 degrees right now. You know? And I think it's a little overcast. You know what I'm saying?
It's overcast here too. It's supposed to snow again, Shabaka.
Snow again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. You guys could have that snow. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you on snow. No, that's too cool for me. Get it? You know. Now, another thing. Now I'm gonna ask you for a suggestion, Mac 285. How can we counterman the Yasa bosses? Because that's the first obstacle in our way when it comes to racist white supremacy is the Yasa bosses. How do we counterman that?
Put them out of business, Shabaka.
Okay, put them out of business. Okay, pay them no attention. I mean, look at Baldilocks right there, Eric Adams, Al Sharpton, old bobblehead.
I know exactly what we can do. We can get overturn mandatory manumission.
Okay, enlighten me on that, man. It sounds like you spoke a foreign language to me. What's who and overturn what?
Mandatory manumission, which was a policy that was enacted for rewarding a slave or a free black person that turned in another black person.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. And that's another thing too. Now, on right there, on that part right there, Brother Che, that there is a drop in a bucket for me, man, on why I identify myself as a diasporic African. Yes, sir. Because if we were truly American citizens here, they wouldn't have did experimentation on us. They wouldn't sit up there and castrate us and have barbecues cooking us. You know, and then photographs that we seen from the past where they lynch a brother and all these whiteys standing around and laugh and grin. Then they would barbecue the brother and eat him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's psychotic. That's barbaric.
Yeah, that's what they do everywhere they go, Shabaka.
My.
Remember, they started on their own first with that shit. And then they took that road.
Yeah. And then old dumb Bunny Sarge, when we was trying to tell him that, you know, he wants to sit there rant and rave. And Sarge, you bogus ass crook, you got up there and gave us a fake ass email, you lousy so-and-so you. Oh, Sarge, we're going to track you down. We're going to find you somewhere, somehow, where we get to call in. And Sarge, I'm going to say that you're shiesty. I'm going to say that you're a crook. You didn't have to lie to us, Sarge. Now, we understand, man, that you can't take this heat, Sarge. But at least we thought we were getting halfway somewhere with you because after all, Sarge, although it happened very few times, we did have some civil conversations with you. See? But they can't take this heat. This heat. You know what I mean? Mac 285. And I feel you, Mac 285. The Yasa Boston has got to stop. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. You know, our future generations are dependent on it. You know, they sitting up there saying, you know, that our little boys should be little girls. That's crazy. That's insanity. See? Oh, and you know who else I'm going to start crumb bumming on Brother Che? And I've seen this idiot on mainstream media, man, and this guy here makes my stomach turn. What's that dude's name? Marv Levin, if I'm saying his first name right, who comes on there on Cartoon News Network.
I guess, but I don't watch that garbage. I don't know who appears on there.
I know. Don't blame me. Okay, Mac 285. I worked in the sun with those crackers. They kept sunscreen on deck.
Sure did.
Oh yeah, Mac 285. We do have to keep our voices alive, so we're trying our best, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Sarge is a joke, twin. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I downloaded some of the episodes on a terabyte, man. Hopefully we might get uploaded, particularly the ones, man, where we rained all upside his intellectual dome. You know what I mean? We must call these bastards out. Oh, I agree, Mac 285. Absolutely. Absolutely. You see? Absolutely. Yeah, hell no, he couldn't handle this heat. You know? Why do you think I used to give Sarge standing 8 counts on Shabaka's Blacc Experience Enhanced when he would sit up there and get all bashed upside the head intellectually, and he starts to screaming and hollering, and I say, Sarge, relax. We all know you're tough. You know what I'm saying? Now continue taking these intellectual ass whoopings.
Right.
See, and we've come a long way, people. But we still got a long way to go, and particularly, you know, with it being the anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King. Yeah, Sarge ain't like us, Mac 285. He can't handle the heat. And how can you tell you getting inside his offense? And I'm sure Jab Jamboree can enlighten on this. Now, Jab, if you're still with us, man, I know you're out there doing the road work. Okay, never trust the 5-0. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if Jab Jamboree is still with us, I'm just gonna ask him about getting on the inside of the opponent's offense. Okay, and I'm sure Jab could elaborate, you know, on that. You know, but if he's out doing road work, let him do his road work. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now for those other groups out there,
it's time for
closing statements.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The closing statement is, please join us on Shabaka's Blacc Experience Enhanced on StreamYard. Please follow the Facebook like page of Shabaka's Blacc Experience Enhanced for details. If you got some hate mail you want to put in there to you OTBs, okay, we'll be happy to read it. In fact, you OTBs that put your hate mail in there, you need to come up on our platform too. Man, you could rant and rave and show your ignorance with your pot gut, beer belly, fat asses, okay? We would love to laugh at you.
You're welcome, Mac 285.
Yeah, oh yeah, Mac 285. Yeah, most definitely. Thank you for supporting us. And if we do disagree, Black family, please let us disagree agreeably. You see what I mean? It's because everybody has something to contribute. You know what I'm saying? Yep. You know, the young ones, the old ones, the middle-aged ones, and what have you. It's because we are a great people. Without us, this place called Earth could not function.
Yep.
All the way to the ancient times.
Oh, thank you.
See? Okay, Mac 285, he says we're one of the best shows on YouTube. Well, hopefully we need to get together so we can go into the kangaroo courts of San Mateo County, California. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And present some cases against them. You know, why they shadow banned us. You know.
Why they took certain videos down.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you had free speech here. Yeah. Thought you had free speech. And if I have to sit up here and tolerate to listen to these pot gut, fat ass, beer drinking so-and-sos down there in Florida, when you niggas going back to Africa,
when you
they're taking away from us. Well, Mighty Whitey, you brought us here. Okay?
Well, Mighty Whitey, you decided to bring your ass over here.
Yeah, you know, they should have stayed in the damn caves of Europe. I'm sure the indigenous people of the United States would have appreciated it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see?
Some of which are
ancestors. And then like, what are the photograph they have of the people, the indigenous people of America with the T-shirt on that says fighting terrorism since 1492?
Yep, well, we've been fighting them since they came across the Bering Straits.
Well, that sounds too cool for me. I was looking at some photographs up there in Canada. Oh, yeah, and by the way, a shout out there to the Canadians. They told Dumpster as that if you fools is putting tariffs on us, we putting tariffs on you. And then the Canadians are shipping all the American shit back across the border.
Yep.
And saying we don't need this shit. You know, it's called the law of supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
And then from what I understand, Stinky Bird is dropping his prices on those pieces of shit, called them Tesla mobiles.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving down Las Vegas Boulevard last night, people. I saw one of them Tesla mobiles. I got far, far away from him. Don't know if the crazy bastard who's driving has decided like old boy did down there at the hotel a while back. He blew his brains out first, then blew up the Tesla.
Yep.
Now, how was he able to do that?
He programmed it. Mm-hmm.
He programmed it. But why didn't he just go up there, take his Tesla, go out there in the middle of the desert, and blow himself up out there?
Yeah. I mean, Nikolai Tesla was a good man, but fuck Elon Musk, who owns.
Oh, yeah, Stinky Bird. Oh, yeah. And by the way, hey, Stinky Bird, you're not an African, homie. You're not Zulu. You're not Xhosa. Okay? You're not in Petwa.
You're not Bantu.
You are, yeah. You're not Bantu. You're not Sutu. Okay? You are Dutch.
Or Canadian. It's Canadian.
Yeah, or whatever. But here's what I do know, Stinky Bird, is that your ass cannot sit out here in this Mojave Desert. You see what I'm saying?
And that's named after a Black indigenous tribe too, Shabaka.
With the Mojave Desert.
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay, get Sister Bianca on there so I could argue with her. I just like to argue with Sister Bianca to piss her off.
Yep, the Ohlone, the Mojave, and it's another.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, Brother Che. The Navajo is because when you cross into Arizona, I believe you're on their reservation.
Yeah,
I know that.
They go by the Dene, the European.
Dene.
The European song.
Okay. All right. Okay. Learn something every day. And we disagree agreeably here on this platform. You know what I'm saying? And then also, two people, is that here on the special edition of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. And please follow the like page. Okay. We're going to be discussing on the special episode. And I'll get with you, Brother Che, you know, when your schedule permits. First thing is, we are all we got. We are now forced to do for ourselves. We are forced now to employ ourselves. Do not hire other groups as per, hold on, I got to write this here, as per DEI. Okay. We could build our own essential infrastructures, people, of high tech, agriculture, and distribution centers of essential services. We could do this, Black family. You young men and women, you have it at your hands. The Black power is in your hands right now. I say, don't look at Tyler Perry dressing up in women's clothes. Mr. Perry, flip the script, man. You know, with your Tyler Perry studios down in Atlanta, brother, you can do it, man. You could do it. We knew, man, that Paramount was going to slam the door in your face, okay? We knew that. But you could do it, brother. You could rope a dope. Look at Ali. You rope a dope. You come off with the triple jabs, right cross, left hook, right uppercut, overhand right. You could do this. Put our own people to work. And beautiful Black women. You don't have to go out here and flat back, you know, to our oppressors. You say, you don't have to do it.
Right. So on that note, this is going to conclude season 10, episode 17 of Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase. Make sure y'all join us tomorrow for a brand new episode of the Frontline Black News. We're now on our season 5, and it will be episode either 3 or 4. Maybe
Okay,
5.
and what you and I got to do, Brother Che, when your schedule permits, man, we got to do a comparison on the notepads, man, to properly log the episodes.
It'll be episode 2, part 1. So we'll see.
Yeah, so we can keep a chronology, in order the log of our episodes to be professional. You know what I'm saying? And then to you other groups of people out there that think that this is hatred, no, it is not hatred. Okay, Mac 285, peace to you too, brother. Say, we just speak against the popular version of what is truth. Say, this is not hatred. Say,
all right, so this is gonna.
When I look at Gutlib and that Levine on mainstream media, that's hatred. Yes.
This is New Black Media Appreciation Month, and
absolutely.
And is a part of the New Black Media, and we
and shout out to Jay Dizzle as well too.
Right, and we are also signal boosters for the New Black Media. So happy New Black.
Sir, and shout out there to the Outlaws. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Barnes, we thank him for joining us recently. Brother Kamar, the juice lady there. You know what I'm saying? Out of the mill. You know what I mean?
Don't forget Brother Rail.
Brother who?
Rail. Remember Rail?
Oh, yeah. Brother Rail also, too. We thank Brother Isaiah, who's been with us since day 0.
Oh, yeah. And the Anchorman is getting out on visits this month, Shabaka, at the end of the month.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's real good. Yeah, let me get Anchorman a call later on today. And also, to a shout out to our sister Hetsepsu. Okay. Out there, in the Rocky Mountain State. And then all those that we have disagreed with vehemently, they sent us a bunch of hate mail and threats like that. Guess what? We appreciate you too. Why? Because your actions on that shows that we are getting somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to sign off here from Sin City. And, of course, our condolences go out to Dr. King's family, his children and grandchildren, and what have you on this tragic day that happened in 1968. Okay, so therefore.
All right, so make sure y'all like and subscribe to all of our platforms, Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook, The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Facebook and Twitter, now X. So peace, love, light, reparations, and separations of Black empowerment. Chan Krumah signing out from the Mile High Income and illegal migrant flooded city. Soon to be deported in the city. And Shabaka Sankori signing out from the Sin City. Peace.
Yes, sir. Come on, 7-Eleven, clack, clack.